This morning, the Police and Prison Civil Rights Union National Office Bearers are holding a media conference in addressing matters relating to recent developments within the criminal justice cluster in its entirety. The briefing is now on, so we're going to go there live.
Dissent them despite what the critics are preaching. For us, human democracy speaks to the governance of the trade union in terms of the quality of all procedures in ensuring we all take the collective responsibility that at all leadership levels we represent the interest of our members. This we continue to do through our publications, or open publications, newsletters, website publishing, all members' views, including those critical of representatives of union policy. And our union always encourages open and free debate and discussion on various issues. Regular meetings at various levels are announced ahead of time, at a time and place convenient for members with an agenda circulated in advance. This affords members an opportunity to interact with the union activities, where they are encouraged to speak, make proposals, vote and make other questions of clarity. This is very important as it ensures that all members actively participate in the decision-making process, which has for many years guided us as a worker-led labor movement. We have also been consistent in the realization that education remains a pinnacle of our members, and we continue providing training opportunities to those who lead with member representations, be it paralegals or shop stewards and others, whilst dealing with issues of organizing, including how to participate actively in the union and how to organize within the workspace. In all these efforts, we also popularize and promote union consciousness and values in the workplace. At this time, we want to address the issues raised in the public space about the concluded agreements within the Safety and Security Sectoral Bargaining Council, which is the SABC, and elaborate our angle and position in this regard. 3 collective agreements were concluded in the SABC, as I said, is the Safety and Security Sectoral Bargaining Council, with the aim of improvement of conditions of service for members. Agreement 1 of 2018 dealt with a special dispensation for pilots employed in the South African Police Service. This was intended to equate it with those in the Defence Force. Agreement 2 of 2018, which deals with grade progression. The agreement is aimed at giving special dispensation for grade progression for constables to sergeants, sergeants to warrant officers, and warrant officers Band 1 to Band 2. This agreement will be implemented in phases for the financial years 2018 to 2023, or 2018, 2019, up to 2022-23, which is a 3-year cycle. Agreement 3 speaks to the job evaluation and grading of entry-level posts. This job grading and evaluation process was executed already, and the outcome thereof will be implemented in phases for the financial years 2018-19 to 2020-21. This process was never undertaken in the history of SABC. An emphasis, it was never implemented, or it was never done in the history of the South African Police Service. The implementation of this agreement in a phase-in approach covers the entire workforce insofar as the job grading is concerned. The negotiations in the SABC aimed at concluding these agreements involved all parties to the council, namely South African Police Service representing the employer or the state, admitted labor organizations, which is POPCRU and SAPU. Upon conclusion of the negotiations, all parties agreed to the outcome thereof. It is, however, unfortunate and deceptive that one party to the SABC, which was a party to the negotiations throughout, which is SAPU, in their opportunistic attempt to cause confusion to members and mislead the whole nation, went out in media, outcome of the process which they fully participated and agreed to with everything in the council. Funny enough, it was only when these agreements or the implementation of these agreements ensued, or then when they started making all forms of uncalled for allegations. To the members, we want to assure them that this agreement is definitely going to benefit them. As indicated earlier on, it is a phase-in approach, and thus members will obviously not benefit at the same time, but within a 3-year cycle. What we want to state on is that it is not necessarily our business and priority to talk about SABC. We are, however, forced into this terrain because of their deliberate misinformation and deception. It has a history of disowning or not signing agreements in which it was part of negotiating. SABC never signed the agreement which talks to the delinking of housing allowance from the spouses that are working for government, which has recently been concluded in 2018. It did not sign Resolution 1 of 2018, which talks to the enhancement of member benefits in GEMS regarding members on salary levels 1 to 5. Over and above, they did not sign the very agreement which talks to the enhancement of progression, and yet they formed part of its complete shaping and agreed with it. Now, the peddling of misinformation, there has been a circulating notion that POPCRU does not care about members employed in terms of Public Service Act within the South African Police Service. This notion, just like many others, is coordinated by our detractors who have no factual basis to make these claims and work tirelessly from deep dark corners in asserting this misinformation. It was POPCRU which signed a whole lot of agreements, starting from the Agreement 2 of 2011, when we signed for the incorporation of Public Service Act employees to the SABC employees, or the SABC Act. It is unfortunate that when this agreement was about to be implemented to benefit members, just like SABC's disingenuous actions, Solidarity, which does not have any organizational rights within the South African Police Service, took that agreement to court. And it is still within the corridors of court as we speak, this agreement. Now, no movement can take place in this regard. Now, to deal with this impasse on our own, we have since said that there should be a task team established within the SABC to deal with the work of ensuring that we realize the incorporation of the Public Service Act employees within the broader mainstream. Our members, we launched a national march in 2013 and 2018 respectively with demands for these implementations. Some of the outcome of the actions that we took was the elevation of the Public Service Act members. We are well aware, of course, that not everybody has been covered, so the agreement was not fully implemented. Hence the developments in the SABC, as we earlier indicated. We signed Agreement 4 of 2017, which deals with the members at the lowest levels within SABC, specifically focusing on cleaners, security, dog breeders, equestrians, food aid services, and all other categories that have been ignored. Again, SABC did not sign this agreement. It is now the Department of Public Service, particularly on these levels, the Department of Public Service and Administration, which must move with speed in ensuring that the finalized or the implementation regarding those particular categories are indeed realized. We tabled a position paper this year in February saying it can be correct that members are being told they have reached a ceiling, and we are calling for a great progression of all those members to be placed at salary level 7, And those who are on level 8 need to be incorporated into the subs so as to that they realize their upward mobility. We also dealt with the security guards, tabling a position paper in the council for an engagement. And as such, a task team was established, which was dispersed into KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, and Gauteng to ascertain and listen to members' concerns. Thus far, a report has been submitted to the SABC to take this matter to finality. In 2018, SAPO took members in 10111 to a strike, which ended up in dismal failure, resulting in these members facing charges and undergoing disciplinary hearings. SAPO is now nowhere to be found in assisting these members who are currently owing the department with between 3 and 6 months worth of salary, a total value which they must pay back on their own. We are hard at work as we speak in ensuring that these members are incorporated within the SAPS fold to address a chaos created by them. Now, in correctional services, having marched to all 3 departments in the past year, 2018, in raising challenges faced by our members across the country, most specifically the EU issues around uniform, the full implementation of the occupation-specific dispensation, and the backdated overtime, and other matters relating to working conditions. We feel undermined by this department in that we even had to postpone our Central Executive Committee in 2018 to seriously attend to this matter of health and safety affecting our members. Whilst we take courage in the fact that the courts have vindicated us by instructing the Department of Labour to finally release the judgment on the safety of the Department of Correctional Services head office within 10 days, as of the 13th of March 2019, we are still appalled by the non-conforming conduct the department has displayed in finalizing all outstanding matters related to the workers' conditions of service. POPCRU is hereby forced to take drastic action in ensuring that the working conditions and other pressing issues are addressed, and we call on our members to ready for such an action. It is also important that we remain focused and vigilant to avoid being distracted by those who seek to join the bandwagon by profiling themselves as problem solvers to the challenges faced by members in the DCS all of a sudden. We need substantial change in the manner in which the department was run all along. The true price of outsourcing government functions, as we had cautioned the Department of Correctional Services back then, a process which led to the dismissals of over 500 of our members, has generally weakened our social infrastructure within the department and deepened economic inequality. When officials turn to private interests to serve the public, hidden costs eventually surface in the form of economic decline, mismanagement, and a poorer quality of services delivered. The benefits of this kind of private-public partnerships largely accumulate contractors' benefits, whilst communities bear the brunt or the cost of insufficient oversight and limited public control over the use of taxpayers' resources. And this has been the case within the Department of Correctional Services. It is therefore very important that decisions into future operations of the correctional services aren't done in isolation from stakeholders. And this is what we've been singing for ever since. We are well aware about now some political parties, out of desperation, which is cope, in its quest to try and revive its carcass. It is busy in correctional services causing confusion to members. There is nothing wrong in campaigning for votes by political parties. It is, however, wrong and deceitful to go into an institution such as correctional services with the aim of misleading them. Members must be vigilant and guard against such fraud and anxious attempts out of desperation and extreme anxiety by these parties. We will be going to our 9th National Congress later this year. We will be as well celebrating our 30th anniversary. And for us, these events represent a huge milestone in the transformation of the criminal justice cluster, which is our great focus, and a vigorous journey in our relentless fight in attaining civil rights for both workers and the public in general. Throughout our 30 years of existence, POPCRU has faced many battles, one of which is this one, but persevered to a point that up to this day remains a union of choice within the criminal justice cluster. We will be tabling our discussion documents in the coming months, and we wish to create public interest and dialogue, which will better improve relations within the communities and stakeholders in prioritizing peace and stability within our borders. Our local congresses have already started, others have already finalized in seeking mandates in improving our standing in the implementation of consolidated programs that we will be focused on in the coming years. And we therefore hope the media and communities can join us in pondering on debates that will best feed into our common concerns of making our environment safe and secure. Sabo.
Thank you, Lubala. Comments from the media. We will be taking questions and comments. You can ask anyone here. Of course, the PS was just reading out, so they will obviously respond to some of the issues that will be raising. So can I get hands, please? Yes, Vitali. Any others? Okay, you follow him. Okay, let's go for those two questions at the moment. Thank you.
My name is Rebecca Magweta from the SABC. I just wanted to get clarity. Is there going to be a police strike tomorrow?
Okay.
Yanka Fuller from UNCA. Just POPCRU's response to what's been happening with the SASA. Obviously, we welcomed the liquidation, but it's now been challenged in court. It was overturned and it's now gone on appeal again. Just your concerns around the employees and what's happening there.
Okay, thank you.
Is it the only ones?
Yeah.
So far? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Will there be a police strike tomorrow? Well.
All right, we're coming out of that media briefing by POPCRU, and we will continue to follow that story as we go along. Let's take a break for now.